Well, hello. This is Siobhan Whaley,
And this is Keith Whaley.
and we wanted to tell you a story that we had a few years ago about believing God for a word He gave us and how it all worked out.
We woke up one morning and had been living in rented accommodation, and I just felt very impressed to go out and buy a house that day. And I woke Keith up and said to him, "We need to go and buy a house today." And he said, "Don't be crazy." What did you say?
Well, we're struggling to buy the groceries. How are we going to buy a house, basically?
But I really felt God had said to me to go and buy a house. So I phoned an agent and asked him to take me around and show me houses that afternoon, which he did. And you managed to get off work to come and look at the first house with us. We
Yeah.
looked at a few that day. And
Well, first of all, we wrote a list of the house we would want,
That's right.
so that we could ask God for that house and trust Him for that house. So we had a long list. Should be a double garage, so many bedrooms, so many bathrooms, this size garden. We had quite a detailed list.
So we went and looked at the first house, and it was nothing like the list. It was about half of what we wanted. Very old, had huge big cracks in the walls, terrible carpeting on the floors, almost like Koya mattress. It was awful.
Like Velcro. You could just see everything sticking to it. It was terrible.
One tiny bathroom and 3 little bedrooms, but it had a biggish enough garden for 3 boys to run around in, and a single garage. And we didn't even like the house, to be honest. And then we went on and we saw another 4 after that. But every house we saw, we kept going back to that first house. And in that first house, there was a couple, and he was busy dying of cancer. And the agent that was with us was very sweet, but he didn't want us to really engage with that couple. But Keith felt very much that we needed to go and pray for him, so we did. Carry on.
So we kept going back to that house to pray for them and support them and love them through their difficult time.
They had a cash offer for that house that they were selling, and they said to the agent, if that other couple, meaning us, want the house, we want them to have it, and we're going to reject the cash offer, which was for the same price. So we ended up with the house. We didn't have the money to buy it.
Yes, and then a deal came up where I could sell some equipment.
Before that, we phoned my father because we knew that we needed money because we didn't have any.
Didn't have a deposit.
And my dad said, "Sure, I'll lend you the deposit and you can pay it back over time."
And then a deal came up, which is a bit detailed, so I'll just tell you. It gave us the deposit within weeks.
Which we'd never had money like that just sort of handed to us, but
Never before.
You had to work hard for it.
I had to work hard, but it was amazing the short time it took to get that kind of deposit ready.
And then we got the money, and within about 3 weeks we paid my dad back in full, which he was very surprised about because he didn't expect it back so quickly. And by the time that all the transfer was through, we moved into our house and the deposit was paid and we had a house. But bear in mind, it wasn't the house we were asked for.
Not on our
list.
list.
It wasn't the house we wanted. So we lived there for 2 years.
Yes.
And then we left that place to go further down the coast to plant a church.
Yes. We may tell that house, underneath the Velcro carpets, was beautiful Oregon pine floors that we sanded and sealed. It looked beautiful. The cracks in the house, do you remember we prayed for it? You could put, in the boys' bedroom, you could put your hand through the bedroom wall into the garden. It was that big a crack. And someone said to us, I prayed for a crack in my house once and God fixed it. And it happened for us too. So we were very happy about the crack in the house.
And it never opened again.
It never opened again.
We went back about 2 years later and looked and the crack was still closed.
Yes. And the profit we made on that house allowed us, when we went to go and plant the church, to buy the house we looked at in the town we were going to. And the profit was enough to put the deposit down on the house that completely fulfilled the list we had of 2 bathrooms, 3 bedrooms, double garage, big garden. It was amazing.
So we're sharing this with you today because we want to say that sometimes God will take you, use the expression, around the houses.
I like that.
He'll take you around the houses. He will take you on a journey for, when you stand in faith, trusting Him for something. He will take you on that journey to fulfill that. So always just be listening for His voice and be obedient to it. Never think that you want something and that's not it, that, what He's showing you is not it. Just go with your peace and go with what you feel led to do. And He will get you where you want to go, because He puts the desires in your heart and He will fulfill them.
As Sean and Bonnie have already mentioned, it's faith and patience that inherits the promises. And sometimes God has, like pilots coming into Hong Kong where we live, in the old airport, they had to fly onto a beacon. I suppose they still do, but they had to fly onto a beacon to line them up for the runway. And that first house was a real blessing to us. We really enjoyed that house. It was a good area. It was near the school, near the church we were attending. It was actually perfect for us at the time. And a really sweet little house. But that was our beacon to land us on the list. We felt that the house that God was giving us was that list, which we got, 18 months? How long we were in that little house?
About 18 months.
About 18 months, and we got the house on the list. That's the goodness of God for you.
Yeah.
So I hope that's encouraging.
So would you say that the blessing is automatic?
The blessing is there to acquire, to receive. It's like a Christmas present. If you unwrap it, then you can enjoy it. But if you don't. So there was work to do. I mean, on the deal, I had to work hard to get the deposit. I spent sleepless nights getting stuff ready for the deal, because it involved packing huge machines up and sending them to another country. So it was hard work, but the opportunity was there to do the hard work. And the word was there for us to get the deposit, to buy the beacon, to get the landing strip. So it wasn't an onerous work. It was a fulfilling work. It was a work partnering with God that got His promise to us. So yes, you have to do your part.
Like you and Bonnie have shared already, you have to position yourselves.
Yeah. But it was great. And it's a great testimony of the goodness of God. So we're happy to live in the houses and to say how good God is.
3 big claps.